Hi guys, welcome back. So today we have another product review. So this is going to be first impressions. I actually received this from my sister for Christmas. Saying that, she only received it the other day. It took so long for her to get it. Basically, she ordered it and then she cancelled it because it took so long to get to me. And then it just turned up. So that's all well and good. So at least we got a product. I actually thought about buying these when I started my printmaking process outside of university, because I thought, oh, it's 5 different colours, you got the primary colours, you got black and white. I thought it would be a very good transition into it rather than just buying them singly. Yes, they're in bigger bottles, but because this is a set, you get pretty much everything. So we're going to just try them out. As I said before, this is Essdee, if I'm pronouncing that right. Fabulous if I'm not. It's just how it is, isn't it? And it's just a little box. It's in a little box and it just has a lot of information about how, you know, they're water-based inks, which means they can be reactivated after them drying, which is just great for wastage. So I'm just going to read this little bit out. It says, Essdee Premium Block Printing Ink is high-quality water-based ink made with specialist ingredients for smooth, vibrant prints. This is non-permanent ink and has enhanced tack and excellent transfer properties, which a perfectly balanced working and drying time, making it easier to use and easy to clean up. Designed for use with Essdee lino, soft cut and master cut and print foam, but it can also be used in many other printmaking materials and techniques. Block printing ink prints well onto grades of paper and card. These 5 inks can be intermixed to create full palettes of colour, tints, tones and shapes. And as always, it comes with a warning about how you should not wear nice clothes when you're doing any sort of art, which I've learnt the hard way. So, nice little window into the fact that we get 5 ink prints. I actually do like the packaging. Packaging's quite simple, but it's out there. So, I'm just going to open it up before cracking it on. So this is the size difference. So this one cost me £8 on Amazon. Obviously, it's a lot bigger. So this one is 300ml compared to the 100ml. So 3 times as much, but 3 times more expensive. But I suppose if you just want to start out and you want to use these primary colours, it's absolutely fine. I tend to go for the bigger bottles because I use different colours for different amounts. Where you're more actually, it's more natural for me to use more black than it is for me to use white, should we say. However, don't be put off at the fact that this is a set, because it's a nice little gift that I think everyone should probably use, and just to step yourself into the world of printmaking, so you're not spending loads of money and you're just transversing into it. So, like I said before, the colours I've already got is the black, blue, white and yellow. I don't think it's exactly the same yellow. This is more of a brighter yellow, where the one I've got is a bit more like lighter. So ideally you're kind of only doing a practice on the red. However, I want to see how versatile this is, if I can keep on using it, because it can be actually a different mixture, and I want to be able to see if the amount that you get out of it is worth paying the £18. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose a liner print and then paint and then print onto cartridge paper that I always use from Artway, on all different colours. And obviously when it comes to the white, I'll see what the white is like printing on top of the other colours as well. In terms of the print, I want to make sure that this is not wasted, so I'm actually going to be doing some prints of Glastonbury Festival of one of my newest prints, because it's just one of those things that I want to reduce waste. If it looks great, that's fabulous, I can deal with that, but if it doesn't, then I can just easily recycle it and use the back of the piece of paper. Or I can use collage. Normally I can just rip up the paper and use it for collage. So we are starting off with the white. I've already squeezed it out. I forgot to press record, unfortunately. But so far so good. It's nice and thick. So I'm just going to wheel it out. Just going to line it up a little bit more, because I feel like I thought it was too much, but obviously wasn't. But literally just the slightest bit, like that amount. Already I can tell you that the ink is incredibly pigmented and well thick. Okay, so the type of paper I'm using is sugar paper. This is a bit of scrap, but I'm going to do it in the middle so that this bit at the very edge can be cut off. How we do this, we need to saturate this because it is water-based ink, it will bring out all the ink that I've got onto this liner. When you're hand printing, it's kind of easy to use everyday objects for it. So you just put as much pressure on as possible to get as much ink out as possible. Fabulous, that gives it a really lovely ghosty look. Okay, we are changing up the paper. As you can see, I do have a drawing on the back of this one, but I want to be able to do something with this. It's a little bit looser. Yes, I do have my dressing gown on. It's because it is freezing. Maybe it's freezing in the morning and then it gets warm and then it gets freezing again. So the usual spring weather. Okay, that's cool. So I know it's a bit, some of the black has come out. However, the pigments that are there works and it works well. So we're just going to quickly line up this one with the red. Okay, and here's going to be the ready orange. Fabulous. Okay, so I just want to show you the colour difference. So that is the yellow. So that is, parts of it is true to life, if the black wasn't influencing it, but I quite like that effect. And then this one is a little bit darker. Even with the red, I would have thought it would be more orange. But saying that, when I rolled it out onto the Perspex, I'll show you it. Pigmentation does fade a little bit. And the fact that I wiped off all the black might just be the fact that it's the oil that you have within the printing ink that decides to dilute it. However, I have found the more that you print with a certain colour, the more layers build up, and actually the colour becomes more pigmented. But I'll go through all that at the very end, so I'm just going to do the last two prints. Okay, so that actually came out a really dark purple, which is quite fascinating. Even though it's not the same colour as the tube, the pigment is still very much there, and you've got this lovely dark shade across the whole boundaries. So last but not least, we're going to go black. Even though that's very close to black, we still got to do it because this is a first impressions test. And there's that pigmentation. Okay, fabulous. Right. Okay, so that is all 5 prints completed. You may notice that as I was going through the process, that some of the colours didn't match up from what is in the bottle. So this one is not the same vibrancy as that colour print, because there is a little bit of printingness, should we call it transfer, from the liner print where it had black on it onto the actual print. However, the colours that are concentrated are very similar to this colour. However, you're never going to get full opaqueness from this printing bottle unless you completely wipe off the whole liner print and have several layers of printing colour on top of it. That being said, even then you're not going to get a completely colour-free print. I have found that ever since I've been using water-based prints compared to oil-based. You can use oil-based once and you get a crisp, clean print, whereas water-based is a bit more iffy, especially when you have to saturate the paper to be able to get that good crisp, because you will lose a bit of transparency. The one that I did lose the most amount of colour on, I think, is going to have to be the blue one. And I know that it had influence from the yellow and the red. However, those two colours are quite bright. So I would have thought inputting it with this colour would not make it go darker, that it would actually make it go brighter. And that makes me think that the darker shades actually have an influence of the black. The pigment that came out of this bottle onto the Perspex was still much darker than this. I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit like, I want to say water. So, you know, if you look out to sea, the sea looks blue, but when you pick it up, it's transparent. So, and I feel like that's what is happening with this medium. It does sort of happen with my larger bottle, but not as excessive. I feel like when it's concentrated and the whole essence of having multiple layers on top of a print happens, it will come out very close to this colour. However, if it's used once, it will not come out as pristine as the rest of them. Other interactions are going to happen and you're never going to get a perfect print with that water-based colour. The red, however, there is quite a big difference. Same issue with going from yellow to red. Even it should only have the influence of the white and the yellow and not an influence with the red. And you can also see that within this one. So this is just white. So where has that black come from? Has it come from transfer of the print? I don't think so, because this is just all white. There's like a little bit of blackness, but it's not terrible. And I mean, this isn't as perfect colour and transfer as that. You can see directly from the bottle, it's not that titanium bright white. And that will only come with layers and layers and layers of that ink onto that certain liner print. Saying all that, however, I do think these printing inks are a good buy. Like I said at the start, I'm not sure how much they were, but when I looked on Amazon last, when I was initially going to buy them, they were around about £20 for the pack. However, I don't think if it was £20, I wouldn't have bought it. If it was around the £12 or £13 mark, I think that's the good price tag of what they are worth, because of the amount of layering and the amount of ink you would have to put onto the print to be able to get that pristine print. So you would have to dedicate a whole liner print to that colour. You wouldn't be able to mix it at all unless you're going from light to dark, and then you have to start all over again by washing it all off, and then this whole realm of waste, because you saw how much ink I had to press onto that liner print, or my lining Perspex, and that was just for one layer. So imagine that several times over. You'll be using a third of the bottle before you even used and got the pristine print out of that liner print. Print. There's a lot of printing words in this. So that all said, I'm going to give this set a score of 6.5 out of 10. And that is only because these are small bottles that require a lot of previous layering on top of each other to be able to get that pristine print that we want to achieve that is in the same colour print in the bottle. This does not influence my decision overall, but the larger ones I feel like are much more useful. If it was larger ones within that set rather than these smaller versions, I think it would have been a better overall score, because if I was just to rate it on those 5 colours that I've got in larger forms, it will be more towards the 8.5 or 9. But then again, you're expected the set to be smaller because you want to try them out. It's a perfect set if you want to give it printing a go, but you do have to be realistic of the fact that the inks will be harder to use because you have to use more of them. That being said as well, because they are water-based, you can reactivate them. So the idea of waste is not an issue because of, well, my way around waste and how you can just print it all off and then activate it with water later on to then put onto a piece of paper that may be ruined from a spill or something, and then you can use it. That's it, guys. that's the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, and also don't forget to check out my description box to links to all my social medias and also my eBay selling account, which is where you'll find all my artworks I feature on my channel for sale, as well as a couple of extras. There's also a PayPal donation page. If you'd like to make a donation, that'd be greatly appreciated. But if not, please just like and subscribe, because it really does help me out and gets me closer to that financial freedom of being an artist. But in the meantime, guys, I'd like to thank you again. I shall see you next time. Bye.